explain that more?
Yes. Yes, there's actually 7 different ways to do Islamic finance. There are 3 that are commonly practiced in North America because they fit well within U.S. and Canadian law. That's Musharaka, Murabaha, and Ijara, okay? We as an organization actually do all 3 methodologies, but we use the methodology for what it's best suited for. So for example, in the case of the Brother Hisham's pharmacy, we would do the building and the fixtures and the equipment, all of that as an ijara, a rent to own. We would do all of the inventory as a murabaha. And then we would do the business goodwill as a musharaka. Okay? So every methodology has its highest and best use because it has very specific characteristics. For example, if you were to purchase a home, right, and you did a murabaha, which is an installment sale, you buy it for one price, you mark it up over time, and then you divide that marked up price over time, right? So let's take a quick look at that. You buy it for $100,000, 30 years, you mark it up to $180,000, 360 months is $500 a month, right? Well, what happens if you want to sell that after 5 years? The property's gone up in value to $140,000, let's say, but your contract is $180,000, right? So you're writing a check for $40,000 to get out of your contract. That's true murabaha. Now there are some shortcuts taken here in North America, but that's truly how murabaha works. We fully implement for murabaha the way it should be implemented, so we utilize it, for example, for inventory finance, or it should be adapted for auto finance, I think short term, or construction finance, right? Then you have musharaka, which is a partnership. Again, we don't recommend musharaka for long-term real estate. It's good for things like business goodwill. Our student loan program is fashioned after musharaka, a sharing, right? Sharaka means to share. So, for example, in, again, a home situation, if you purchase a home using musharaka, you should share in the gain or the loss, correct? So, over a period of 10 years, if your home goes up in value from $100,000 to $140,000, your ownership increases from 10% to 40%, guess what? 60% of that gain is going to the investor, okay? So that's why we do not believe the musharaka is good for long-term asset-based finance. It's good for something that's intangible. Just like Brother Hisham did a partnership with his employees, musharaka would be the same thing. That's what we use musharaka to do, to finance his goodwill. Right? And then there's ijara. Ijara is basically asset-based financing. It's probably the most popular worldwide for equipment financing, for building financing, and other types of assets. So in that kind of a situation, we would create an independent trust. The trust would own the asset and then lease it back to the customer, right?
And would the customer have control of
Yes.
that trust?
Yes. A customer, the way we set up our transaction, we put the power of what happens to the asset in the hands of the customer. Okay? So you have full control. Unlike a venture capitalist that's going to come in and tell you how to run your business, right? The power to run your business is in your hands. All we're doing is providing an Islamic alternative to all those other options out there. Okay? Now, Sister Zainab did a very good job of describing all the traditional methodologies for doing regular financing, and there are some methodologies out there which are not available to be done in an Islamic way. For example, credit cards, or that type of short-term non-asset-based financing, right? But utilizing musharaka for goodwill, for something that's intangible, using murabaha for short-term types of needs, and using ijara for long-term financing, we're able to do pharmacies, medical offices, CPA offices, professional offices with 0 down for the practice, 100% financing, 5% for the building, right? We can do apartment buildings, we can do retail buildings, we can do homes. For just about any type of a business option you have, there is an Islamic solution for it, okay? It may not be as readily accessible as going out and applying for a credit card, but there may be another solution for your business. And inshallah, as a community organization, Ijara Community Development Corporation, if there's a way to find that opportunity for you, we'd be happy to find that. Now, microfinance and other things that are available locally does not mean that those options can't be taken and structured in an Islamic way, right? So, for example, there's an organization in Chicago that does microfinance, something less than $25,000, $2,500 loans for small businesses. They can use our intellectual property to structure their investment in an Islamic way, and so you could benefit from other nonprofit sources and still have an Islamic transaction.
Do you have anything for students' loan?
We have a program for student loans. It's been developed. We don't have funding for it yet. So we want to get funding for it. And if you guys are interested in funding our, because we are also the only company that since 2010 has been doing Sukuk investments on a limited basis in the US. And we're also now the first company to actually officially launch a REIT objective, right? So we're in process of putting together a REIT, a real estate investment trust, which we believe will be the future of Islamic finance. And we're looking for people to get involved. So same with our student loan program, we need people to get involved. We need our communities to get involved.
It is a not-for-profit, right?
Ijara is a non-for-profit, Ijara Community Development Corporation. However, the investors that we work with are for-profit investors.
I just wanted you to tell everyone because a lot of people are new to Islamic financing, and the ones that have researched it, guidance and all these other companies, they don't offer what you do, right? They only offer home financing.
Yeah.
So you guys are different than all of them, right?
Yeah, we're very different. First of all, we're a nonprofit, they're for-profit. Okay, so typically you will not see a markup in the profit rates, right? If you were to compare us against guidance, we're probably going to be cheaper, right? Because we're not marking up the investors the rate. The methodology is different. We could do musharaka for long-term real estate, but we do not believe that that is the highest and best use of that methodology, okay? Because there are better ways from a tax perspective, from a property tax perspective, from a profit and loss sharing perspective, that are better for the consumer, right? Some people like to use the methodology that's most profitable for them and not necessarily for what's good for the customer. So we could do musharaka, we could do murabaha for residential real estate, but we choose not to because it actually is not the best, right? We would do musharaka for business goodwill. We would use it for what its highest and best use is. We would use murabaha for its highest and best use, inventory finance, something short term, right? So, but we offer more than just residential. We do commercial businesses, and not just commercial real estate. We have, for example, My UIF. My UIF will come in and finance your property, but they will not finance your actual business operation, right? We will jump through the hoops of structuring a Islamic line of credit. It's complicated, but we take the efforts to do that. Others may not. But again, as a for-profit, our objective is to service our community with the best Islamic product that we can.
And then just one more question. So people in Wisconsin have access to all this if the states don't matter? Because I believe certain things.
Yeah, so commercially, we can do pretty much any transaction anywhere in the US or Canada. In Wisconsin, our main investor kept a license for us here in Wisconsin just up until last year.
Oh, you guys.
And they let it go because you guys did not participate enough. And it was too expensive for them to maintain it. However, we still provide, our conversion product is available still in Wisconsin and is available in a lot of other states. But if people actively get involved and there's a way that they can, because to maintain a license costs money. So if people get involved and continue to finance, then they would relicense and continue to do their
We would love
products.
to help you with that. I don't know if anyone here knew it. We didn't know anything about the organization, so.
Right.
I mean,
What are you talking
now
about, the
the-
student investor loan?
Yeah.
So the student finance program is developed under a musharaka structure, right? A partnership, right? Because it's really intangible, right? You can't really, there's no asset there to finance, right? And a typical student loan is strictly just a lending of money, which we can't, there's no way to do that from an Islamic perspective. So the student finance is based upon a partnership where an investor will invest in this company that is basically the individual,
Right.
and will take a percentage of their income that's generated after they get their degree, okay? And it's also predictable in terms of what the profit can